said he's good all by himself. I said, if you don't do another thing for me, he's already done too much. He's already blessed too much. He's already healed too much. So I've got to give him praise. I've got to lift him up.
Your heart has a voice that when you get startled unexpectedly, it beats fast and it tells the adrenaline, beat, 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 faster, faster. Your heart has a voice when there's an anticipation of something so great, like the birth of a child. It speaks of love from within. Amen. And your heart has a voice when the one that you love so dearly comes in your presence and your heart stops and skips a beat. It has a voice. You know what? Leave it to Elder White. But that's true. The beat has a pattern, a rhythm, all its own. All its own. I want you to know that God hears your cries. He hears the voice that many speak without using their words. The midnight voice, the midnight cry. But I'm here to tell you that for the most part his hands are tied, not because of his inabilities, that he can't just come on in, but we all know that God is a gentleman. He's not going to force his way in. You tie his hands when you harden your heart. Your cries become stifled, they become a suffocation of your soul. God doesn't want us to learn through a personal experience that everything apart from him is hollow, is empty, and is meaningless. He's trying to get us to heed the warnings that he sends. We see every day in the news, and I made it a point not to watch the news because it's so depressing. But for whatever reason, I've been really in tune to the news lately. And there's so much discontent. There's just the lack of love for your brother in this world is so disheartening. There is no respect. There's no love. I'm going to read you this poem. I came across it and it screamed at me. Don't know where I found it, and I can't even tell you who said it. But in the poem, 6 people seated around a fading fire refuse to help each other because of their personal grudges and prejudices. They all end up freezing to death as a result of their selfishness. It reads, 6 humans trapped by happenstance in bleak and bitter cold, each one possessed a stick of wood, or so that story told. Their dying fire in need of a log, the first man held his back. For the faces round the fire, he noticed one was black. The next man, looking across the way, saw one not of his church and couldn't bring himself to give the fire his stick of birch. The third one sat in tattered clothes. He gave his coat a hitch Why should this law be put to use to warn the idle rich? The rich man just sat back and thought of the wealth he had in store and how to keep what he had earned from that lazy, shiftless poor. The black man's face bespoke revenge as the fire passed from his sight, for all he saw in his stick of wood was a chance to spite the white. The last man of this forlorn group did not accept for gain, giving only to those who gave. Wow. This is how he played that game. Their laws held tight and death's still hand was proof of human sin. They didn't die from the cold without. They died from the cold within. We've heard so many times, and it rings louder and louder every single day. We don't have a sin problem, y'all. We have a love problem. Romans 13:8 says, let no debt remain outstanding except the continuing debt to love one another. For whoever loves others has fulfilled the law. It just seems like there's so much anger, and there's so much hurt, and there's so much fear. To me, this poem illustrates examples of excuses of why I can hurt in my heart. You know, I don't like his color. I don't like your stature. You don't belong to my circle. I despise your wealth. You're not on the same level that I am. And the list can go on and on and on. I'm finding out more and more that when a person is angry and bitter, there's a great hurt that has never been healed. It's a wound that has been covered and it's festering. It's getting infected and it's affecting your heart. It's affecting your mind. We know where our heart is where our mind will travel. With me looking at the news so much, I kept, again, talking about the heart of the man. I've been reading David a lot lately, about David. Because I wanted to know about this man who God said was after his own heart. I'm going to say that again. God said this man was after his own heart. Do y'all hear the depth of that statement? A man after my own heart. Can you imagine the heart that can chuck away every insecurity I have, every iniquity I have? The heart that can throw it into the sea of forgetfulness and never bring it back up. The heart that can every morning greet me with a new love, a fresh love. This man was a man after his own heart. He fascinates me because what was he doing that God was like, yeah, you finally caught on. You caught on to where my heart is leading, the vision that I have for mankind. And yet this man had issues. He had a multitude of issues. But I think the difference, and I'm getting ahead of myself, but I think the difference is his heart never laid down with ill-begotten issues without repenting. He made it right with God. This man chased God with his every being and poured his soul out when the slightest offense occurred, he knew that he needed to always be in right standing with God. He could not lay his head down without getting it right. So then I had to say to myself, how often have I laid my head down without getting it right with God? It made me take a really good look at myself, because I often do a self-examination of where I'm at, you know, the journey, the point of the journey that I'm on. Because I wholeheartedly said yes to my journey. It took me a while, but I have wholeheartedly said yes to my journey. So I had to look at myself, because I know I've laid my head down without making it right with God. I know I have. Am I taking care of God's business as I should? Am I walking with the correct attitude, with humility, in obedience as my Father has instructed? I can't say that I truly have. But not from a lack of desire. We can have all the desires in the world we want, but without the application of it, it doesn't make a hill of beans. We can have 1,000 good intentions, but it was the one man that made the attempt and failed that did a greater thing than me, than with all the good I've done. And if that's the case with myself, how am I doing with my brother, my sister? I guess, you know, I'm here today to just talk to you, to tell me, it's time to stop hurting one another. It's time. We have to stop hurting one another with our words, with our lack of understanding of what may be before us. This applies to everybody. With the sound of my voice, and those that can't hear me, those that are walking out on the street, those that are on Church Road. We're around all these churches, and yet this church road has never fellowshiped as one. Amen. That's a terrible, terrible thing. My perspective may not be yours, but all I ask is you respect me long enough to stop and hear and then understand what I'm trying to say. Because pain is still pain. I don't care what you call it. It's still pain. None of us have cornered the market on pain. Hurt is still hurt. And what I'm able to bear, you may not be able to bear. And the same with you, with me. Be mindful of our words, because words can't get retracted. I can apologize, I can repent, but the hurt, the scar is still there, the cut is still there. And although I'm chasing after the heart of God, I attempt daily to throw it into the sea of forgetfulness. But I have not arrived there. And if y'all have, please let me know, because I want to know how to get there. I'm here to tell you that you're not a misfit. You're not a misfit. Too often we feel like in the place that we stand, the journey that we walk, and the position that we are, we don't belong. This is just Kim 101, okay? I believe that David felt like a misfit. King David. Because within his own family, when Samuel came, when God sent Samuel down there to anoint the new king, and he went to that specific family, his father, Jesse, did not bring him out. He didn't call him from the field. He just had his sons of stature, the ones that were handsome, the ones that had an appealing outwardly position. But David, he was the one that was doing all the hard, strenuous work on the farm, on the land. He was out tending the sheep at the time. And Samuel thought, surely this one right here, this man of stature, this man of height, this has got to be who you have, wanted me to anoint. And God was like, that ain't him. Don't look at his outward appearance. I'm looking at the heart of the man. That ain't him. Don't get caught up on what you see, everybody. God tells us to walk by our faith and not by our sight. That doesn't just mean that, I'm trusting that what's before me is not what it seems, but I'm trusting that the discernment that's been placed within me because of my relationship with God is allowing me to see what God sees through his eyes, not through my own abilities.
Amen.
The other brothers first they were scared when they saw Samuel. And then when they knew that he wasn't coming to strike anybody down, everybody was all preparing for this lavish meal. So Jesse didn't even make mention that I still got one more son that's in the back. Because his mind was, to me, Jesse was saying in his mind, oh, he definitely couldn't be who God is coming to anoint. Don't you let nobody tell you that your design is not meant to be. Don't let nobody ever tell you that because you think outside the box, it's not the way that the thought should be. Because see, it was because of those that thought outside the box that we have all these innovations and inventions. Now, don't get it twisted now. Don't pervert the thinking outside the box. Because there's a thin line. But don't let your environment dictate to you. You dictate to your environment because of the design of who you were before even in your mama's womb. You were designed by God. Every piece of hair on your body or lack thereof. You, with your relationship with God, the world can't tell me who I am. I know who I am. But then I thought, this has got to be such a hurtful moment. Because I don't even think David knew what his daddy thought. I don't even think that thought even crossed his mind because of his heart. Surely my father wouldn't think that I'm less than. But many of the people that are around us think we're less than. And we unfortunately know. How many of us have felt that we were the misfit? No matter what we did, it wasn't good enough, but you just keep on trying to please. God handpicked David to become king and was anointed by Samuel at that very young age. Some say 10, some say 15. At that moment, David didn't get the big head. You know what he did? He was like, thanks for the shower of oil. I have to go back out to the sheep because I can't leave them unattended. Even then, his mindset was like, I have to tend my sheep. Every man that is a king has that mindset of, if I've been placed over something, I have to watch over it. Every man that has that mindset of a king. Not a dictator, but of a king. Because there's a difference between a true leader and someone that's just there in position. It was like another 15 years from the anointing to David ruling over anybody. I'm going to ask y'all this question. How many of y'all can wait 15 years for your journey? Just the one journey. A lot of us can't even, me personally, I got road rage, and I can't wait 15 minutes sometimes in the middle of traffic. 15 years. I bet you some of y'all ain't gonna even get to the end of the street without having a little bit of rage as you start on your journey for the rest of the weekend. Oh, Lord Jesus, that's so. My second point is, don't mistake kindness for weakness. I'm gonna tell y'all a funny story. You ever seen Pastor smile all the time? Y'all know he always smiles, right? But do you know his little ticks and stuff in his face? Yeah, I know you do. He smiles because he over there. Because when I get there, there is no stopping me. So I'm gonna stay myself right here in this lane right here. But I warn you, if you ever see the nostrils flare, it's time to walk backwards, excuse yourself, and humble down. Because at that point, he's about to go to the other side. We all have a virtual person, I'm just saying. Don't put him in the virtual world. That's just that's inside for everybody. You ever been in a situation where you just wanted to continue to love on a person despite of all the craziness that they keep doing? Lord, to the have mercy. Let me just tell you something. It's tiring. It is so tiring. My being says, keep loving. My being keeps saying, love on them, keep loving, keep loving, keep loving. And my mind and my body say, I am tired of this joker right here. I can't do it no more. So then God says, I didn't ask you to do it. I just said, be the vessel. Just be the vessel. That's all I'm telling you, just be the vessel. So when you get to that point of, I am sick of this person, and I'm tired of this person, give it back to God, where you got it from, and work on His strength, not your own abilities. Do you know why? Do you know why, though, you keep saying love on this person? Because God loved me regardless of my flaws. God loved me because of my issues. What God has shown to you and your genuineness to show the love of God to others. I'll say that again. What God shows you, He needs you to be genuine of what you are receiving from Him to send it back out. So that people can know who He is. This is why we disciple. We are sent out to minister to others. There's some people that I can reach that can none of y'all reach. There are some people that y'all reach that I will never even break ground with. But that's why He sends us all out. We are all ministers of the Word. It is not just people with a collar. You are all examples and representation of who God is. So, and God forbid you say you go to church, because then you call, oh, you're a holy roller. But I don't see you do a few things over there that I personally wouldn't even do myself. We represent no matter what. And we got to understand that. This is what I keep saying to myself. Every time I get to that point where someone has taken my kindness as a weakness. Somebody loved me past my pain. Somebody prayed for me on purpose. And somebody kept me and protected me long enough for me to walk on my own. Just like we do an infant. We see the baby wobble, do the drunk man walk. What do? We're like, okay, go got you, I got you. But when we have babes in Christ, what do? We bring them up here, we get them saved for that moment, and then they stagger away drunk. Well, who's there catching them? What, is that another notch in your belt just to say, well, I brought them up and I prayed for them at the altar and I did this, or I was in the street and I witnessed to somebody in the street? Follow up. It takes follow up. Because we all know, like, when there's a death in the family, it's not the moment that everybody's around that I needed you. It's the moment when it's all silent. That's the moment when I'm by myself saying, I need that hit. I need that hit. And there's nobody around me that's going to hold my hand while I'm in my shakes. There's nobody around me when I've been through an abusive relationship and I'm fearing that I walked away from the craziness, but now I'm all by myself. What am I going to do? I waited and I counted on this man. That fear, that doubt that sets in. And the reason why a lot of people step back from when we help the babes in Christ is because you've taken that kindness for a weakness and now you've abused it. It's twofold. I gotta do what I'm supposed to do for the rest of that journey with you, and you gotta do what you gotta do. Respect and understand who was placed in your life to help you. There's not enough reciprocity between us. I don't want the hatred reciprocity. I don't give hate out. I'm strict. I'm no nonsense. But I'll love the hell out of you. And I mean that. When I have committed myself to something, I'm there. I may not like being like, oh Lord Jesus, it's 2 o'clock in the morning. And I won't be up because God has said, I need you to text them something. I'm just like, what in the world? 2 o'clock in the morning? I don't think you're going to text it 2 o'clock in the morning. God is like, text it. So here I am trying to text it. And I'm like, oh my God. And then I get a call from you the next day saying, if it wasn't for you at that moment, I wouldn't have been here. Saul hated David not because he was taking his place. It was because he was jealous. And he filled his heart with bitterness. How dare God take away this blessing he gave me? How dare he take away my anointing to give to somebody else? Let me tell y'all something. Don't protect what he's giving you. Trust me, it's gone. God is not a respecter of persons, but his purpose will be fulfilled. If you don't take care of what God has given you, trust me, it does leave. Okay, we'll deal with the worldly thing. You can sing, but don't exercise your voice. Don't protect your voice. Don't take care of it, that ability, that gift. It's gone. Y'all know what I'm talking about. There's a lot of singers that didn't take care of their gifts. Mariah Carey's one of them. I'm just saying. And it's a shame because she found every excuse other than she didn't do what she was supposed to do. God says, touch not my anointed, do my prophet no harm. He really means the words that are in the Bible. My third point is, we all have issues. During the process, David fought his own battles within himself. He had a constant struggle of sin. Adultery, murder. He didn't chastise his children when he should. And they ended up, one killed one, And then the man that he thought as a brother killed the other one. He lost a piece of his heart because he didn't take care of, he didn't chastise them. He didn't put them in the place that he was supposed to because he was so off doing some other things. God is going to test you during this waiting period because before he'll give you any authority over anything or shower you with blessings, he needs you to see if you're worthy of handling the blessing or the calling. We know that David went through many tests. God examined David's heart, not his outward appearance, to show his worthiness. Saul could have learned from David in the love he had for Saul, but unfortunately, jealousy and hatred filled Saul's heart. Know this, you cannot learn from someone you resent and somebody you envy. You can't. You just can't. During the process that God had David, every test, every trial, every tear, every heartache, every victory, David was working on himself. He didn't wallow in his defeats or his sins. He was proving himself worthy of the blessing and the authority that God bestowed upon him. So what are we doing there in our process? Are we pushing in, staying grounded and proving to God our worthiness? Are we chasing after God's own heart? Or are we complaining about the inconveniences that we're experiencing during our tests and our trials? When you feel like you're suffocating and all this is in vain, stop long enough to think and regain focus on Jesus. You have to respond and not react. And there is a huge difference between responding to something and reacting to something. Reacting is, I am all in my emotions. I don't care what you have to say. I don't want to hear it. You're going to hear me, period. That's a reaction. Our response is, you step back, you look, and God is all in your response. God is all in it. It's the thought. When we don't put God in what we're doing, especially when it's dealing with somebody else, you find that there's a whole lot of hurt that comes out of it. Distractions are going to come, y'all. They're going to come. God did not promise us a good day every day, but he promises that he would never leave us nor forsake us, right? But how many of you know that if you take the attention away from that squeaky wheel, it's going to stop squeaking? You know a child that goes, Mommy! And you're like, oh, Jesus. First time you beat the fool out of them because you got to teach them. But if they keep doing it, just go, all right. And after a while, he either get tired and fall asleep. Or he'd be like, I can't get to him like this no more. All right. So trust me, distraction's going to find another way to try to get to you. But at least you stop the squeaky wheel for that day. Stop letting all these squeaky wheels get you so taken that you are pushed away from the journey. That you get on part of a path that you were never intended to be on. So I started off by saying I want to speak to your heart. I'm getting ready to close. We could all learn from David. This is the things he showed us. Despite what my surroundings may say about me, it is what God has designed and ordained for me that will come to fruition. The process of my journey is a necessity, every bit of it. Missing a step can halt my blessings. The test comes from God so that the testimony will live. Understanding that your pain is for someone else's purpose. David demonstrated the building of character is not in materialism or prestige, but by the examination of your heart. David was very strategic in building his foundation before becoming king, because he understood the history of what he one day would rule He placed influencers in leadership positions. He understood the worth of his men and their abilities. Y'all can't do it all by yourself. You can't do it all by yourself. You got to get somebody that you can take along with you that's going to learn with you. And you got to put them in positions. And if you see something in them, keep working with them with it. Mentor. He made changes within himself before he asked that of those that were under his leadership. I will never ask anybody to do something I personally have not first done, or that I'm not willing to get down there with you and do. Nothing. Because how dare I ask you something that I wouldn't even put my hands on? That is not a sign of a good leader. And anybody that does that, that's the supervisors at your job, anything that walks this earth that tells you to do something that they're not willing to do, that's a problem. That's a problem. He gained their trust by living the life he spoke about. No, you will tolerate what you will tolerate. You won't change. And what you will change is something that you have realized you can't tolerate. Let me end by saying this. Being in position is not an easy place. I've shared before a few times that I ran from my calling. I ran from being able to serve God because I understood when I was younger that it was going to come at a high cost. I knew I was called. I just didn't want to do it. I didn't want to. I didn't want the hurt that I felt was coming. I know the people that I stand with, I know we don't regret our calling. I know we don't regret saying yes. So we need you to understand something. A person in position is held to a higher standard and scrutinized harshly at times, being held at a standard that you may not be able to achieve yourself. But you know what? You should hold us to a higher standard. But I need you to keep this in mind when you're holding me to a higher standard. I am a woman just like you are. And the men are men just like the men. Not a position. We are subject to the same doubts. We are subject to the same fears. We are subject to the same issues that you face, and probably even much more, because we have bought into the idea. Yet we continue to open ourselves all the time. We intercede on your behalf, we pray with you, and we pray for you. We don't second guess a need that you have. We just say how, where, when, what do you need? We just want you to recognize this the next time, that if you see our nakedness, if you see me in a moment of weakness, don't be in such a hurry to delight in that falling. But cover me in prayer. Just as I have covered many in prayer. That's all I ask. Just cover me in prayer. until I can regain my focus again, this is what we need to do with each other. Don't be so quick like Daniel's sons to expose him naked to the world. Covering is not covering up. Covering is, I got you. It's time to stop hurting everybody. It's time to stop hurting each other. Is it going to hurt you to love just a little bit longer? Is it going to hurt you to say, yes, I'll do that inconvenient thing? Isn't that what family does? This is what I see here, my family. I'm 800 miles away from my immediate family. But everybody out here, and even those that aren't here, y'all are all my family, and I love on y'all like y'all my family. Some people say, I treat y'all like grandma, I feed y'all all the time. But that's all right. That's all right. Because I'm going to keep loving regardless of how and what comes at me. I'm going to keep loving no matter who gets in the way. I'm going to keep loving until I take my last breath. Because I'm going to be who God designed me to be. I'm not going to let the world, I'm not going to let anybody tell me anything different or show me how to be anything different. So if it inconveniences you, step aside. Step aside. Because I'm coming full force. When you allow me in, I'm coming in like the mighty rushing wind. Because I may only get one opportunity. I thank you for the time today that we've had. We may be small in numbers, but we're big in heart. So, if you can bring the kids in for me, we're going to have prayer as family today. We're all going to come to the altar and we're all